This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
All right, what's good, Buffs Nation? It's time to talk about the next game up. We've got 4 more left for the season, so we're going to dive into the preview of these games just so y'all have an idea of who to look for, what to look out for when it comes to these opponents. We've got Texas Tech up. We're also going to talk about Kansas. We're going to talk about Utah, and wrap things up with Oklahoma State. So let's dive into that. This video here is presented by our partners over at BetUS. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description below. They're hooking you up 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Definitely taking care of the better over there at BetUS. All right, let's look at Tech. Let's dive into the key players to keep your eyes on, return production, all that jazz. You know, the same thing we've been doing this whole time. Having a good time, talking ball, and making sure that, we're just getting an understanding of what's coming up. So let's take a look at them real quick. So again, this is the row of teams that seem to be coming up with some pretty good rankings, right? Texas Tech walks in at 32nd on the overall ranking, 50th in offense, 25th on defensive side, and everybody going forward from Utah, who's at 40, Kansas at 19, as well as Oklahoma State at 41. We're going to be hearing about a lot of teams that could be a problem on the back end of the schedule. And so looking at Texas Tech here, production-wise, they're returning about 61% of production, 70th in the country. Offense at 61% and defense at 61%. So basically all the same down the line, roughly in the 70 range on all three. So they're bringing back a good chunk of their players, but there's still a lot of questions about what they've got going on. And so when you look at this team, shout out to Joey McGuire. First 2 seasons there at Texas Tech, he's gone to back-to-back bowl games. Nobody else has really done that at Tech. And so he's starting off with a bang, right? 15-11 in his first 2 seasons. Total 7-6 last year, and they beat California in the Independence Bowl. But the big thing for them is new quarterback, right? But they still got that running back. And let's dive into the position guys that are really going to jump out, the ones to keep your eyes out for in this game, because I really believe that this game is going to be all about that Colorado rush stopping defense going up against this running back. This video is presented by our partners over there at BetUS. Make sure you check them out. Link is in the description below. They're giving you 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. So they're trying to make sure that you're going to have yourself a good time. So like there's one bet here that I've been looking at that you got to check out. First game of the season's coming up. We've got Colorado going up against North Dakota State. Spread is at 9.5. Which is a minus 115. So it's definitely one bet I'm going to take advantage of. So I think this is going to be a win. I feel like Colorado should cover this spread. Money line is sitting at minus 340. So I think the money line should hit because I expect Colorado to go out there and win this game. So you can check them out here on BetUS. Use our link in the description below. If you make a deposit, they're giving you 125% up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits, helping you out, as well as they'll give you back 10% of your net losses twice a year. So yeah, they're taking care of you and making sure that you are happy with the services. They give you 24/7, 365 personalized service and all of that. So check them out in the link description below. BetUS. So let's look at the offensive side of the ball real quick for Texas Tech, and what the Buffs need to keep their eyes on is their running back Taj Brooks. Man, 1,500 yards last season, 10 touchdowns, first team all Big 12 honors. That dude's a workhorse. He's ranked 4th nationally in rushing yards per game at 118. He's one of those dudes that, I remember watching him last year in the Big 12. Dude's a problem, right? And he's considered one of the top backs going into the draft next year. So he's definitely someone that the Buffs are going to have to keep their eyes on. And that's why I said it's going to be about this run-stopping defense. So that new defensive line, those linebackers led by Bentley, he should be able to he's going to have to stuff it, especially if he wins that middle linebacker position and he's healthy at this point of the season, because Taj Brooks is a problem. I know he's given some teams some hell. 1,500 yards last year, yeah. He's expected to be the workhorse because they've got a new quarterback in Baron Morton. He was the backup in 2022, Ended up starting like 8 games, threw for 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns, 8 picks. So I think he'll be okay. I don't know if they really have big weapons besides Josh Kelly at wide receiver. Not a lot. I mean, he caught 61 passes for 923 yards at Washington State last year. And he's a 6-year senior, so he's a veteran presence. Career-wise, over 140 catches and 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. So for the Buffs, the big thing is going to be keeping their eye on Taj Brooks and not letting him beat you, because that's what Texas Tech's going to want to do. They're just going to pound it. That's going to be the Joey Maguire game. That's how they feel like they're going to be able to beat Colorado. And so for me, it's really, like I said, it's going to be big on the run stopping, keeping Taj Brooks in check. Kind of simple, right? I don't think Morton's going to be too much of a threat. Now, I'd say by that time of the year, we'll have a good understanding of him at quarterback. But I don't think that he'll be a threat this season. I think it's going to take some time for him to really get going. So what the Buffs need to do is, and plus the secondary is pretty elite in Colorado. So I don't have a problem with thinking that they can stop the wide receiver room. It's going to be all about keeping Brooks from running down your throat nonstop. If you can handle that, I think the Buffs will be fine. On the other side of the ball, I'm not really big on Texas Tech's defense, but a lot of people that are high on them. I mean, they got the safety, C.J. Baskerville, my apologies. He's a transfer from San Diego State last year, right? And last year, second in tackles with 78 and 4.5 tackles for loss. So they use him in a lot of spots. They put him at what they call the quote-unquote star role. So he's all over the place. He's blitzing. So, I mean, you can get tackles for loss or whatnot. He's got 2 interceptions, and he knocked down 5 passes, but he's one of those dudes that's going to be all over the place on the field. So there's a good chance you may see him trying to shadow one of the wide receivers. I mean, you want to do Travis Hunter, but with how great the wide receiver room is in Colorado, I don't see that help working out. We'll talk about that later on today in another video. We're going to dive into that wide receiver room and those linemen, because the Buffs got a lot of stuff working for them. Cooking with grease on that one. And then, of course, linebacker Ben Roberts. He was co-defensive freshman of the year, the Big 12 last year, and he led the team in tackles with 107. So the run game that we know that Colorado's going to have to try to put together, it's going to be critical that they're prepared to go right at this dude. I don't know. In watching Ben, he's really good at getting into those holes, but at the same time, as long as Colorado schemes it properly, he shouldn't be a threat, right? But ESPN believes that Texas Tech right now in their matchup predictor, they've got them winning at like a 57% clip. Colorado's win probability is at 42.8. Buffs may have a chance to pull this upset. It's in Lubbock, so I know that that's where the challenge comes in, and I see why they would lean more Texas Tech over Colorado, because it's a road game, right? And Lubbock is a pretty tough place to play. The series, career-wise, is 5-5, so the Buffs can probably go in there and make an upset. We'll see. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let us know how you feel about this Tech game. I know it's early, right? We're doing a long way preview, and we're going to do that for the last 3 games as well this week, just so that we can prepare for week 1. And we'll break down, again, North Dakota State based upon what we see they've got coming on. All right. Check out the additional videos. As y'all know, we put these videos up for you all. So make sure you check out the whole list and playlist of all the previews there, including positions, and make sure you subscribe. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Check them out. 125% on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. They're hooking up the gamer, so make sure you get in there and bet on your Buffs. We'll chop it up soon.